Hello, my name is Ankit Hansdak, UR15CS258, and I am here to explain the program I have made for the first experiment. The aim of the first experiment, the first question, is to enter a statement, find out the number of characters and words in it. So I have first included the required header files. First is iostream, the second is string.h. I included this header file because I'm going to use the string commands in this program. So now we start the main function, and I've initialized the string str. This str is going to store the input sentence, which is going to be inputted by the user. Second is int I. This I is for the loop, and here this WNM and CNM. This WNM is to count the number of words, and CNM is to count the number of characters. And L here, it is to store the length of the string that has been inputted. Okay, so I initialize the word number 1, and character number is equal to 0. Here why I've taken 1, I will explain it later. So let's carry on. So using the cout and cn system, I get the input for string. Here the program prompts the user to enter a string, and this statement inputs it. Here the next is the L. This str.length is to get the length of the string that has been inputted. I need it to run my loop. I need actually to terminate my loop. Here this length here this length bounds the loop. So now next step, I started this loop, and here it started the loop, and here I given the condition. So my logic is this, that to distinguish between the words in a sentence, there is a space between the words. So whenever there a word occurs, we know that next is going to be word. So for every space, a word is counted. But since the first word doesn't have any spaces before it, so I have taken WN1. That is, I've already counted the first word. So if it's space, it will count numbers, else it will count the characters. Thus the number of characters and the number of words have been calculated. So next I will print those counted numbers and counted characters here in this cout statements, and that's how my program runs. So let's go ahead and try out a few samples. Okay, so I take a first sample input, enter. See, so we get the desired output. Number of words 3. Here 3 words, and the number of characters, if we count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 so here we have successfully executed our program. Thank you. Moving on to the second experiment. The aim of the second question is to enter the number of hours, total number of hours to install hardwood flooring, and calculate the number of 8 hours working day and the hours worked in the last day and the net pay. So for this program, we include this regular iostream header file, and this namespace standard, same thing. Now starting with the main function, now we input here few variables which we require for the program. Here hours, this hours will HRS will store the number of hours, total number of hours which the user have to input. Second is days, it will store the number of days which will calculate. Next is pay, it will calculate the net pay which the worker will be getting, we will calculate. And the last day, this will store the number of hours worked in the last day. So here I will initialize days is equal to 0 because I will be calculating its here by incrementing it, like, okay, I'll tell it later. So first I will initialize days. Next I will use the cout statement to prompt the user to input the total number of hours for installing the hardware. So after the and the cn for cn is to accept those values. Next I'll start a for loop. So it will start with hours, and it will decrement 8 hours because in each day the worker will work for 8 hours. So each day the number of hours required will be decremented by 8, and it will carry on until it's greater than 0. So now in this for loop, I will start with this if statement. I will use this if statement to count the number of days. So if I is greater than is equals to 8, that is whenever, like, there are complete 8 hours, it will always increment the days. Else if the number of hours left is less than 8, that means that there are only the last days left, and then the remaining hours will be left for the last day. So for every complete 8 days, the days will increment. Next, since the 8 has been decremented every time the loop runs, so there will be, at last there will be a point when us a word at least which is 0 or less than 8 will come. So it will directly come to I, because I is changing in each loop. So finally, after this loop is completely executed, we get the number of days and the number of hours in the last day. So as given in the question, the rates, using the rates, we'll calculate the net pay for total number of 8 hours working day. Each day the worker will be paid 200 rupees, 200, and for the last day, for each hour he will be paid 40. So we multiply the number of days in 200 and add with the last hours left in last day into 40, and thus we'll get the total amount of pay. Next we will just print out the results we got. So this is how my program will look. So let's try out some samples. Okay. Working days, let it be 900. Okay, so we get total 8 hours working day 112, and number of hours working in the last day 4, and net pay 224. So we have again successfully calculated executed a program. Thank you.